Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, there is a brand new vegan SOS-free cookbook that is topping the Amazon charts. It is called Live Your Healthiest Life, one bite at a time, one meal at a time. I had the honor to writing the foreword. It is written by dear friends Shayda Soleymani and Dr. Gustavo Tolosa, who was on the show yesterday. And today we have the other author, Shayda, who is going to be making a recipe from the book. Please welcome her to the show. How are you,
Thank
Shayda?
you. I'm doing great. And thank you so much for having us on your show. It's greatly appreciated. And I personally want to thank you for writing the foreword to the book. It was an honor. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you for asking me. And the food was delicious. And I know that because we've been eating it all weekend at 3 different potlucks, including one yesterday that was pretty much open to anybody that was on the meetup page. And it just was so delicious. And so, how do you enjoy being a first-time author?
It's overwhelming. It's exciting, and I just love it. And I honestly cannot believe that this book is out because we had been talking about this book for so long, for so many years, and to finally see it come to fruition and have it here in my hand. And you guys are just like so wonderful about it. It's just I'm grateful, truly, truly grateful for everything.
You were
Yeah.
so busy at the potluck yesterday signing books. Did you even have a chance to eat?
A little bit towards the end. So yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
I
food.
didn't get to try everything because all of it was almost gone, but it was wonderful. You guys really have a beautiful community here, and I wish I had something like that in Orange County, and you guys are very, very blessed.
Well, I say move.
It's not that easy to do, AJ June. I wish I could.
I know, I know. Well, great. Well, what are you going to make today?
Well, today I'm making 2 recipes from the book. I'm going to be making a mango black bean bowl, which is super easy. It's one of my favorite dishes. It's one of my go-to dishes when I don't have time to really make anything. And then I'm also going to be making you a Persian. It's a dish called goji bademjun, which stands for tomato eggplant dip. And typically we will make that for, like, if there's a party, if there's something that will always be on the table for part of the appetizer. And you can eat that with vegetables. You can put it you can eat it by itself. You can have it, we typically have it with lavash bread, and you put that on it on top, and then you take some fresh basil and put that on top. It is just a really delicious, delicious dip. I don't know if you got a chance to try it yesterday, but it's just, and it's super easy to make. So I'm making 2 very easy recipes for you guys.
Nice. Well, I can't wait.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the mango black bean bowl, if it's okay.
Yep.
And I've gone ahead and already cooked the quinoa. We cooked the quinoa last night in the Instant Pot, which is super easy to do. And I've got about, I've got it in here. And we are going to be just adding things. Now, what I'm adding, if you guys want to add other things to this bowl, please feel free to do so. I always say that recipes are just a roadmap. It's for you guys, and you should always make it to what you like. There's going to be mangoes going in here, but I do know that some people don't like mangoes, but you can add pineapple, you can add apple, honestly, you can customize this bowl however you like it. So we're going to add to this black beans. Again, if you don't want to add black beans to this, you can add chickpea. You can add cannellini beans. You could add navy bean. I mean, you could add anything you want, honestly. Next, we're adding corn. Just make sure the corn that you're buying is GMO free, because it is pretty processed. We're going to be adding bell peppers. Now I've got 2 different kinds. I've got the orange bell pepper and the red because I like color in my food. We do eat with our eyes, and we want to make sure that our food looks pretty and appetizing. We are going to be adding cilantro. Now, I know a lot of you don't like cilantro because you have that gene that it tastes like soap. So you can add parsley, you could add mint, you could add parsley and mint, you could add cilantro and mint, you could add basil, you could add dill. The possibilities are endless. Just add an herb because it really makes it delicious. Let's get everything. Now, AJ, do you like cilantro?
I love cilantro and I love mango. I don't get how anyone could not like mango.
Well, some people don't. Now,
Here's
go ahead.
Gustavo's watching, and there's a question from Joan. How do you make quinoa in the Instant Pot?
So I take, you take 2 cups, or you can take 1.5 cups of quinoa. No, it's 1 cup of quinoa to 1.5 cups of water in the Instant Pot, 2 minutes, and let the pressure come down naturally. Honestly, it could not be easier. Could not be easier. So I added the mango to this. Now, you really don't need, I'm going to be adding lime juice to this, but because there is fresh fruit in here, it's got that moisture. So you really don't need a lot of juice. Since I'm adding the lime, I want you guys to always add the zest because the zest just gives it such a wonderful flavor. And I wish you guys were here because the smell of the zest is, oh, it's so, so good. And then we're going to juice this. Oh, I can't cut it. Oh, there we go. Oh, and the other 2 ingredients we're going to add in here is jalapeno. I have ground jalapeno peppers in here. And that's optional, you guys, because I know some people like a little spicy and some people don't. So you don't have to add it. And then we're also adding cumin, because honestly, cumin is one of my favorite spices. And in the Middle East, we eat a lot of cumin. Now, AJ, I forget, is it you that can handle spicy, or is it Charles that doesn't like really spicy food?
Charles doesn't like anything spicy. I can handle a little bit of spice.
Okay, I knew it was one of you guys, but couldn't remember who. But let me add the spice before I forget, before I put the other lime in, because I was about to forget. So I'm adding jalapeno peppers. And if you guys want to know where I got the ground jalapeno peppers, it's on my Amazon page, Healthy Cooking with Shayda, and I'm adding cumin to this.
Yep. You can also get it from local spicery.
Yep, you can get it from local spicery as well. Or actually, you can get it from Frontier. I mean, you just get it.
You can even
good.
get it at you can even get it at Costco.
You know what? Our Costco doesn't carry it.
That's where I got mine, McCormick.
Yeah, I've never had it at our Costco. It seems like your Costco carries a lot more stuff than what our Costco carries. And I do know, depending on the region, different Costcos carry different things.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. So look how colorful this is. And this is just a simple, healthy, delicious meal that can come together rather quickly, especially if you want to use canned beans, you're welcome to, or you want to make the beans from scratch, you can do that as well. And look, that is just beautiful, colorful, and it's tasty, and it really did not take that long to put together. So that's the mango black bean. Now you could also add some black pepper to this. So I have stopped using regular black pepper and I use the black cumin seed because it just adds such a nice flavor to food. And plus it's got a lot of health benefits to it. And I know it's called a different name. It's called something. I don't remember, but I call it black cumin seed. And I just add a little bit on top. And then we're going to mix all this again. And that's it. Our dish is ready.
Yummy. But you're hitting the road today. Who's going to eat it?
Well, because we've got so much food here and Tammy's both her refrigerators, she's like, make it and take it. So hopefully I can leave some of it with her, and then the rest we'll take it on the road with us. Because we've got about a 6-7 hour drive to get back, and so we'll enjoy it on the road. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any questions regarding this recipe.
Just that it looks amazing, says Carlene. Jeanette says, can you use frozen mangoes instead of fresh? Mangoes can be expensive when they're not in season.
Yes, you can. Just make sure that it thaws really well and then use it. Yeah, absolutely you can.
Yeah, that's what I used yesterday in my sushi bowl. And I kept the juice in there from the mango. I use it in the dish.
Oh yeah, why not? That's gold right there. Why would you want to throw that away? I agree.
I wouldn't.
Nope. Let me know when you're ready and we can move on to the next recipe.
You betcha. That was quick.
It is quick, and that's what I'm saying. So if you've got the stuff at home, and again, if you don't have cilantro, use basil. If you don't have black beans, use chickpeas. You know what I mean? Just make it. But it's a quick, easy dish, and it's light. It's really light, and it's absolutely delicious. And come on, you can't get easier than just squeezing fresh lime juice on top. You don't even need a special vinegar or anything for it. So yeah. And that recipe is on page 88 of our book for anyone that's following along. And the next recipe that we're going to make is going to be on page 125 if anybody's following along.
Good.
So, yeah. Okay. So do you want me to go to the next?
Oh, yes, please. Sorry.
Yeah, I was waiting for you, but I need Tammy's help because I'm not really familiar with her food processor. So look, we have Tammy here.
Oh my God, we get a guest appearance. Another plant-based royal is in the house. Look at that.
We've been having the best time, you guys, and this book is amazing. And yeah, I've had the pleasure, Tom and I've had the pleasure to try so many of the recipes over the past few days, and everything is incredible. And so it's so delicious. And not only is there Shayda's Persian recipes, but then also Gustavo has all of his family recipes as well. And they're so delicious and amazing. And they can get bonuses.
Absolutely, you guys. So make sure if you purchase the book that you save your receipt when you go to Amazon. Anyway, and we've posted everything, and we also post a link in the show notes where you guys should send your bonuses to, and it's lyhlbonus@yahoo.com, because you don't want to miss out on the bonus recipes, because we have 10, 5 from Gustavo, 5 from me, 10 secret recipes, and they got to taste some of and AJ did too, because the famous tahdig that's oil free is in the bonus, so you guys will want to get that, and the rice recipes are in the bonus, so please don't miss out on that. So
they need to email their receipt to that address, right?
Yes, it's lyhlbonus@yahoo.com.
And for those people who don't know what tahdig is, do you want to tell them?
So
it's like, woo, the best thing ever.
So tahdig is when you make the rice, it's the bottom of the rice and it's a little bit burnt. But we have figured out how to make it now without the oil. And usually there's a lot of oil on the bottom of the pan in order to make it super crunchy. But Saturday night I made it for you guys, and everybody came in the kitchen and they saw me taking it out and breaking it, and we were all eating it, and it's just delicious. So it's a real treat. That's a real treat to eat. And did you like it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And crunchy, right?
Yeah, so delicious, and amazing that she can make it without oil. So she's absolutely cracked the code on that, as well as, everything that you made.
Thank you.
That, you take the meat out, you substitute different things for it. It's delicious. So adds a lot of variety. And I know a lot of people are always wondering, like, what can I make for company when company's coming? Well, you know what? I think ethnic dishes work really well for that, because they don't have an expectation of what it should be. you know, if they've never had Persian food before
And it's
or,
good for them to try something new.
yeah, absolutely.
And the beautiful thing about our rice dishes is when you make the plain white rice, the saffron rice, I made 2 varieties of rice out of that. So I had the saffron rice and I had a barberry rice that I just made. So I only had to make 1 pot.
Right. It
So
was easy.
it was
But you
easy.
got 3 different dishes out of it.
I got
It's
3
amazing.
different dishes out of it, but next time I come,
Uh-oh.
the pressure's on because I taught you how to make
I
it. The
know.
pressure's on.
You have to help me though.
I
You have
will
to
help you.
I will
Absolutely.
practice between now and then.
Absolutely. I will help
And
you
then
on
we'll see.
that. Okay.
Okay, so the eggplant dish.
So the eggplant dish.
Should we tell them what you did?
Yes. So
With
what
this?
I did, this is called goji bademcum, which is an eggplant tomato dish. So I had already ahead of time, and these were the big eggplants. These are not the Japanese long, skinny eggplants. These are the big fat ones. So you're going to take those and you're going to roast it in the oven. You're going to take eggplants and roast in the oven, and you're going to take tomatoes that you're going to roast in the oven. Now, it is summer, and some of you may still have your barbecues. And if you do have your barbecues, I highly recommend that you take the eggplants and the tomatoes and you put them out in the barbecue and you grill them, because it really, I don't know, grilling just adds a different flavor to it and just makes it delicious. Not that this isn't delicious, but grilling just does it, I don't know, it just makes it even more delicious. So what you'll want to do is make those, and I would cut the tomatoes and put them in the oven. And once you get the eggplant done, you know, you're going to slice it in half, and then you're going to take all the flesh out. Well, this is what we have here. All the flesh is here, and the tomatoes have been roasted. So we have those here. This is the hard part, you guys. You're going to take the eggplant and the tomatoes, put them in the food processor, and you're going to blend it. You don't want to blend it so much that it becomes soup. You want it kind of like a chunky salsa. Would that be the right term?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a chunky salsa. That's what you want to do. Look at all that.
And you could just eat these tomatoes.
Oh, you could. The tomatoes
Just
are
as
just the
they
way they
are.
are. But I would put a little bit of fresh basil
Yeah.
on top. Oh my goodness, the basil would make it
Absolutely.
so delicious.
Wasn't there some Persian food at the potluck yesterday, even though you didn't bring it?
Oh, no, that was not from that. The dish wasn't, I know who you're talking about. That wasn't from Iran though. No.
But it kind of had some eggplant.
It
and
has
some-
a Middle Eastern, it definitely had a Middle Eastern flair to it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he also did it with eggplants as well.
Hey, don't forget to tell people about your, weight loss story.
Well, let's blend this, and absolutely, I'll be happy to. There we go. Don't do too much. Do a little bit more.
You want me to just pulse it? or-
Yeah, just pulse it. So let's open it and see. Because like I said, if we let this run too much, then it's going to turn into soup. And that's not what we want. Yeah, that's fine.
That's pretty good.
That's
actually.
pretty good, actually.
You want it in there?
Yeah, we're going to pour it in here. So I started with Chef AJ's program back in 2012 and have lost about 115. Well, I had lost about 120, but 5 pounds snuck on. But at least I know what I'm doing, and it comes off pretty easily. And so, did we get it?
Pretty good.
Yeah. And so I found my way of eating a whole food plant-based diet, and it's been the best thing that I've ever done because it's sustainable and I really enjoy it. But one of the things when I started eating this way is that I was not about to give up my Persian food. So I had to find a way to make the food healthy, tasty, and to convert the Persian food to this way of eating, because I wasn't about to do this. But I was really overweight. I was pre-diabetic. I had high cholesterol, high triglycerides. And even one doctor had told me that it would take Herculean efforts for me to ever lose weight. Well, here we are 13 years later, and I've managed to take the weight off and keep the weight off, and I couldn't be happier, and all my numbers are good. My family eats this way. which is wonderful. So there's no problem there. Some of my friends eat this way. Now I did lose some friends along the way. But that's the way it goes. My health comes first, and it's been the best decision of my life. And one of the reasons that this book came to be is because I always wanted to, well, first of all, a lot of people kept asking me to write a Persian cookbook. Even you, AJ, you kept saying you need to write a Persian cookbook, but there's so many Persian recipes that cannot be converted. It's just impossible. Some of the recipes that are in the book, you guys, some of them took me 2 years to convert. I can recall a couple of recipes that literally took about 2 years to convert and try to figure out how to get it to the way it's supposed to be. Most of the recipes that are Persian in the book, and there's a lot of Persian recipes in the book, some of them have taken 6 months to 8 months. So mom and I were in the kitchen quite a bit trying to convert some of these recipes. It is not easy to do, but I'll tell you what, it is doable. But like I said, not all the recipes are doable. So one of the reasons that I thought would be really cool, because I didn't want to write just a Persian cookbook, I collaborated with my dear friend Gustavo. I'm from Iran. He's from Argentina. I've lost a lot of weight eating a whole food plant-based diet, and he's lost a lot of weight eating a whole food plant-based. And there's always a lot of books out there with women that have lost a lot of weight, but you don't hear too many men, or they don't showcase the guys that have worked really hard in losing the weight and maintaining the weight. So our book is really, really unique in that respect. The book is not just a recipe book. We really dive in and give you our personal stories, and it's my story, Gustavo's stories, and it just goes from me to Gustavo, from me to Gustavo. We talk about our health struggles. We talk about what we did to overcome everything. I've got recipes in here that have been passed down from my grandmother to my mom to me. Gustavo has recipes in here that was passed down from his grandmother to his mother to him. And it's just beautiful. And you get our whole life stories. We dive in pretty deep. And I give you, my top 10 strategies of what I did to lose the weight. And Gustavo also gives you his, top 10 recipe or top 10 strategies of what he did to lose the weight. And then the book goes in, and we've got, honestly, the book, the recipes that are in the book, they've got an Italian, Mexican, Persian, Argentinian. It's got a lot of flavor. So even though I may make something that's considered American, there is that Persian twist that I'll throw in there just because of the spices I may use or the way I make it. So the book is really interesting, and that's the feedback that I've been getting from everybody, that they couldn't put the book down because they're reading our stories, and they couldn't believe how it was just captivating. And within the stories, you guys, there is recipes within the stories, because I talk about how when we came to the United States, we didn't have fast food drive-through restaurants in the Middle East. In Iran, we didn't have that. So it was really cool to see, oh my God, look at all these drive-throughs. So how we took some of those recipes and converted them. My grandfather's favorite rice dish, I converted that. My mom's favorite rice dish, how we converted that. It's really inspiring, and I really do hope that you guys will buy it, support us, and really enjoy the book. And what I want to see is you guys making the recipes, and I would love for you guys to post it so I could see it. And if I could ask for one more favor, if you guys can go to Amazon and give us a really good review and a 5-star review, I think Gustavo and I would be thrilled. And I know a lot of you guys have done that. You've kept us on the bestseller right now, which is really exciting. And I can't be more grateful for everything that you guys are doing. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. Shayda, couple of questions in the chat. The first one from the first recipe you made is from Cynthia. She actually doesn't like mango. Can anything be substituted?
Absolutely. Does she like pineapple? She could add papaya.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
you could do
papaya.
papaya,
Papaya
you
sounds
could do
great.
mango, pineapple, you could do apples, you could do nectarines, because I'm trying to think of fruits that are in season right now. So you could add grapes, like purple grapes. Um, honestly, it's whatever fruit you like. So absolutely, you can substitute whatever you like.
Thank you. And Suzanne is asking, is there a difference, especially a taste difference, between the smaller baby eggplants and the traditional ones people are used to seeing?
There is. There definitely is. And the baby eggplants are really good when we make, there's a stew that we make with eggplants. So the baby ones are tastier for that. But when you're making a dip, this works beautifully because the baby ones don't have all the flesh and everything that the big ones have. And that's what you need for this recipe. So there is slightly a bit of a difference, but not much. Yeah. At least I don't notice a huge difference.
I've always liked the little ones better, the ones that were more like a light purple.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's just preference.
well, they have less seeds. Yeah. Nice. So what was the hardest part about writing the book?
Everything was hard.
All right. Well, what was the easiest part?
Well, the easy part was telling the story. I think our stories was pretty fairly easy, but I think the hardest part for me was converting the Persian recipes. Now I tell you why. Tammy has watched me cook this weekend, and with the Persian stuff, you really like, okay, like this dish that we're making today. I gave you guys measurements, right? But you're gonna have to taste it after it's been sitting in the refrigerator, because once it's sat in the refrigerator, everything comes together. But then you might want to add a little bit more pomegranate molasses. You may want to add a little bit more pepper. You may want to add a little bit more of this. So to me, converting the Persian recipes and giving you guys measurements, honest to God, that was the hardest thing, because it's just about putting it in, tasting it, putting it in, tasting it. And I remember there's a section that I have is called the holiday recipes. And so for Passover, my grandmother always made the most delicious haroset that, it was to die for. So then I kept asking my aunts and my mom, I'm like, do you guys know how to make this? And none of us knew how to make grandma's haroset. So I think about 6 months before or a year before, I told my grandmother, I'm like, Grandma, you have to teach me how to make this. So she's like, yeah, take a couple of this and a couple of that and this and that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Whatever you're going to use, put it in the bowl, and I'm going to measure everything. And that was really hard. So we learned in the Persian cooking just to add and taste. So for me, the recipes were the hardest, especially the Persian section. Like there's halva that's in the book. Halva, have you had it, AJ? I don't know if you have.
I haven't had it for years, but as a little kid, we had it all the time.
Okay, so halva, the way we make it, it's got a lot of flour, it's got a lot of butter, it's got a lot of saffron, it's got a little bit of rose water. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in there. But there's a lot of butter. And I remember my grandmother making it all the time. So, and typically we make it for, sometimes we make it for special occasions, but really in the memory of when someone has passed away, or the services, that's on the table, and you can decorate it beautifully. And I don't have it. No, I don't have the picture on the book, but so I told my Aunt Giti one time I was making something, and the smell of it, well, the way I was making lentils, and for whatever reason, the texture of the lentils, after I had blended it, I told my mom, I said, Mom, what if I added some saffron, some rose water, some this, some that? I think we might be able to make the halva. And she goes, well, let's try it. So I tried it, and we got the taste, but the texture I could not get for a while. And the texture, you need to be able to cut it, right? You need to, and you typically cut it like in a diamond shape. So for months, we couldn't get the texture. I kept getting it to go thicker, but it was still soft. We couldn't get the texture until I made it one night and I took it to my mom's friend's house and she goes, well, you know, we add rice flour to this and that'll thicken it up. And Giti goes, my aunt, she's like, oh my God, grandma always added rice flour. Why did I not remember that? I said, I don't know why, you should have remembered that. So we started to add rice flour to it. AJ, it took a while, but we finally got it where you can cut it, you can move it, and the taste is spot on. But, and the texture, we pretty much have it. It is, people, the Iranians that taste it and they're like, oh my God. But what they don't know is that we made it with lentils and it's healthy. And nobody can tell that it was made with lentils, but it's absolutely delicious. So there's a lot of story in the book. And if I may just take a minute, I just want to go over, because people have been asking me about the pictures of the recipes, what recipes these are. We didn't do it. This is the burrito bowl recipe. This is the potato salad that I brought to the potluck yesterday. And we decorate the potato salad because we kind of make it, we put it in a serving platter and we make it like a mound and you could put all sorts of fun designs on it. The picture below is a Persian rice pudding. And literally this big bowl was made with 1 cup of rice. Believe it or not, it was just 1 cup of rice. But it's got a lot of saffron, it's got a lot of cinnamon, it is delicious. Again, rose water. We use a lot of rose water. Up here, we have a chickpea brownie. Down here, we have a delicious potato dish that Gustavo made. Back here is my mom's favorite pancakes that I make for her once a year, or I did. Here we have chickpea cookies that are Persian cookies that are made from chickpeas. Then I have a mushroom bisque. And here we have our nacho cheese sauce and our nachos. So those are the pictures and the names of the recipes that are on the book. So yeah.
Nice. A few more questions came into the chat.
Great.
Stephanie says, other than using for the dip, what are some other uses of pomegranate molasses?
How much time do we have? I use the pomegranate molasses all the time. So there's a lot of dishes that we make that we use the pomegranate molasses. It's not just in here. So I make it into stews. I make salad dressing out of it. You can put it on fruit if you want. So there's many uses for but you guys have to be careful with the pomegranate molasses because a lot of times when you buy it in the Middle Eastern market, they do add sugar to it. So make sure you read the ingredient. Now, if you go to my Amazon page, I do have this. This is by Al Wadi, pomegranate molasses, and there's no sugar added to this. And if I recall, AJ, you found this one time. I think you were coming back from Mexico, and you found this at a store, right?
Yes, it was in Westmoreland. I can't think of the name of the store, but they actually had a Persian store in the middle of nowhere.
There you can see, we're everywhere. We pop up everywhere. But yeah, pomegranate molasses, and this makes really good salad dressing. You could take pomegranate molasses and just mix it with lemon juice, and it makes a great salad dressing. So yeah, there's always bottles and bottles of pomegranate molasses in our kitchen. So because we use it a lot. There's a stew that I make in the book. It's called khoresh be, which AJ, how do you pronounce it? There you go. That's the name of the recipe. But it's a quince recipe, and it's made with quince, and it's made with this whole bottle goes in. Now Saturday night, AJ, when you were here, 2 bottles went into that recipe. So we use 2 bottles of this for that. But so there's many uses for it.
Joe would like to know if there's a Fessenjune recipe in the book.
Okay, there is no Fessenjune recipes, and here's the reason why. And I love Fessenjune, and I used to make the best Fessenjune before converting to a whole food plant-based diet, because it takes a lot of walnuts. And walnuts, when you're cooking walnuts, will turn into walnut oil. And that is just way too much oil. I have not been able to successfully convert June to this way of making it SOS free. So no, there's no June.
Aw.
And June, yeah, no, June is really hard. AJ, it's 1 pound of walnuts. Think about it. If I'm cooking 1 pound of walnuts, that just all becomes oil.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just no way, and I don't know what to substitute for that, because there is a distinct flavor for June, and it is absolutely delicious. And back in the day, it was my go-to recipe to make. But no, sorry, no June.
Well, here's the thing. There may not be any June in the book, but there's a lot of Shayda June in the book. So just click
There you go.
and buy it. Marley says, "Oh my gosh, the book sounds amazing. I love recipes like this to try. Buy the book." There's an email in the show notes where you can get the bonuses. And Naomi, who brought the amazing raw pad thai yesterday in the cantaloupe soup, said, "I ate that potato salad yesterday and it was beautiful and delicious."
Thank you.
Awesome enthusiasm. And Shirley says, "Do you grind your own spices to make adve, or do you buy it pre-mixed?"
It's called advieh.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lazy. Well, like if it's cardamom, I'll buy it in the pods and I'll grind that. Certain things I will grind, but for advieh, no, I buy it. I buy it from the Middle Eastern store. Just make sure you get a good brand. Like Golchin is really good. Sadaf is really good. And I keep those spices, I keep them in the refrigerator. But the advieh, no, I buy it. I buy. And inside the book for the Persian section, I gave you a whole glossary of the special spices that we use. And there's not one spice in the book that I have used for the recipes that you guys cannot get easily on Amazon or easily at a Middle Eastern market or somewhere. So I did not use any, because somebody asked me that yesterday at the potluck, and because he's right. You do buy these wonderful books, and sometimes, they use certain spices that you're like, where am I going to find this? It's not your typical spice or something that you would use. But I made sure that whatever spice I use, you guys have availability. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from a Middle Eastern store, or at least an ethnic store. So we did that for you. And then I also, in the glossary, I described what a barberry was, what advieh is, what, pomegranate molasses. Like one of the spices I'm using in here today is called golpad. And it is ground angelica powder. And when you smell it, it has a woodsy smell to it. But I grew up on this because that goes in here. And this always, in the winter months in Iran, we have all 4 seasons. So when it's snowing outside, grandma used to make first thing in the morning, we had lentils for breakfast. And this is what goes on top of the lentils, and it's absolutely delicious. So everything that I'm talking, every spice you guys can easily get to, so don't worry about that.
Thank you. And Marley says, "Where do you buy rose water, and does it have to be organic?" I see it at Whole Foods and even at the local store.
I haven't seen it at Whole Foods because I've never looked for it, because I always get it from the Middle Eastern store. It does not have to be organic. And let me tell you something about rose water. For those of you ladies that use toner on your face, all that expensive toner, if you bought the rose water, put a little bit, dab it on the cotton ball and clean your face with it, it is the best thing for your face. It not only does it have a wonderful fragrance, but it just cleans your face, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So rose water, no, you don't have to buy it organic. And I forget, like I know Sadaf makes a really good rose water. There's also orange blossom water, and orange blossom is actually nice in Iran, or actually even here. They sometimes put rose water on their tea or the orange blossom. And I know like the Persian ice cream, which I'm not a fan of because they add too much rose water to the ice cream. But I just like a little bit. So yeah, so I don't know if you've ever tried it, AJ, as a toner for your face, but I highly recommend it.
Thank you. And let's see, where I saw it at Whole Foods was the section like where I buy the sushi ginger and the wasabi, and but it was down really low. Like if you didn't
I'll
look.
look for it.
And Susanna's saying, well, what is rose water? Is it actually
It's just, yeah, it's just water and roses. That there's nothing else in it. How much was it, if I can ask, or if you remember, AJ, at Whole Foods?
gosh, I didn't even look.
Was it more than $2.99?
Shayda, I didn't look because I didn't
Oh, you
plan
didn't
to
look.
find
Yeah,
it. No.
just because I know Whole Foods that the prices could be a lot higher. Because at the ethnic store, literally, it used to be 99 cents a bottle, and then it went to $1.99, and I think now they're about $2.99. So
Wow.
I was just curious to see how, what the prices were at Whole Foods. But I'll look for it now that I know generally in the kind of general area that you're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lane, I guess it's a aisle with ethnic food. So like they had the nori, and they had, all the things I was looking for Asian. It was in there. Maybe it was just their international foods, but it was all the way on the bottom shelf. Like you had to like
Okay.
really look down. So
Okay.
Virginia says, what brand pomegranate molasses were you using?
Al Wadi. It's A-L and then W-A-D-I.
Great. And Shirley Ann says, when is quince in season?
Typically you'll find quince somewhere around the Persian New Year. So that's probably right around March. And it's not in season for long. It could be in season for like 3 or 4 months. Okay, so I buy quince when it's in season, and I'll saute it with the onions, and then I put it in a freezer Ziploc bag, and I keep it in my freezer, because in that way I can have it anytime I want. For those of you that cannot find quince, and I know there's people out there, you can easily put green apples. You can substitute the quince for green apples. And I know we've done it before with green apples and pears even. So there are substitutes that you can do. But
Cool.
yeah, quince is in season for a short amount of time, and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they look
So-
like an apple. They're fairly large. They look like an apple. But yeah.
Sonia says, is there a good online source for Persian foods and ingredients?
Online source, like what do you mean?
Like a place online you could buy them instead of like going into a store.
You can go to Sadaf, SADAF. You can go online, and they have a lot of products, and so you can buy your spices and whatnot from them. You can go to Golchin, it's Golchin. That's another brand that you can buy your spices and whatnot, or you can just go to Amazon and buy it, because Amazon carries both of those lines.
Nice. All right. Oh, she also wants to know, are there any other recipes in the book that use rose water?
Oh gosh, I know the halwa does. There might be a few more. I just can't think, because there's a lot of recipes in here. I can't think off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, the Persian, the sholazar, what's it called in English?
I don't know.
Right, sorry.
You're asking the wrong person.
I know the saffron rice pudding, that also has the rose water in there. Oh, and then also the cookies, the chickpea cookies. So there's quite a few.
Thank you. And Sandra wants to know, when you were losing weight, did you have any relapses and regain the weight? And if so, how did you, or how do you get back on track?
You know what? I don't know that I had relapses, but I did gain some weight, maybe 5 pounds or something, but 10 pounds. But I immediately, when I notice that happens, I just go right back to my old ways again. And my relapses, as you want to call it, or weight gain, they're not from me going to like McDonald's, excuse me, or eating like the bad food. What I typically have a tendency to do is overeat on a lot of higher calorie dense foods, meaning I may have more dates, or I may have more fresh fruit, or I may have nuts and seeds. My problem is that it's not me like going back to the old ways of eating with the salt, oil, and sugar. Is just on the plant-based diet. I just go to the higher calorie dense food. When my mom passed away, that happened. And I didn't beat myself up because my friends and family would not let me beat myself up for that. But I immediately, nipped it in the bud and got back on track. But that's what you got to do. You got to recognize, what you're doing. Are you really relapsing back to eating salt, oil, and sugar, or are you overeating unhealthy foods, but they're just higher calorie dense food? And if you are, just get back and go, below the red line. That's what we do. Yeah.
That's great. Well, you're going to get this question because every guest on Chef AJ Live, even if they're not vegan, gets it. What do you eat in a day? What do you do for exercise?
So for exercise, that's really easy. I've really, for the last 3 years, I really kind of slipped back and I wasn't working out like I used to. But now I've gotten back into weight training, heavy weight training, because I love weight training. So I have found a gym that their whole concentration is about weight training and building strength, especially for women, because as women, we don't, men are taught to go lift weights and have beautiful muscles and all that, but women, no. And it's not about me becoming a bodybuilder or anything like that. Although this gym I go to, they will train you to become a bodybuilder, but their whole mentality about eating is protein, 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 protein. And you got to get X amount. And you got to, what do you mean you don't eat animal protein and whatever? But I love it because I'm finally back to lifting weights and building some muscles. And so I do that, and I do some cardio. I do a lot of walking. Food, honest to God, I eat as simply as possible. This quinoa dish that I made is one of my go-tos. Having a simple baked potato with a large salad. A large salad is part of my everyday meal. So, and then at night, I always have steamed vegetables, and I eat a lot of fruit. So I eat simply, not like this, but we still have to make this.
Not like
dish.
we've eaten the last 3 days after 3 potlucks.
No, not like we've eaten the last 3 days. But this eggplant dish that I'm going to make for you guys, this is very low calorie density. So you could eat this. There's nothing wrong with this dish, nor is there anything wrong with the quinoa. One thing we did do in the book is some of the recipes may ask for, say, hey, avocado. But I've put in parentheses, not favorable for weight loss. And if you're trying to lose weight, leave the avocado out. So it doesn't take away from the recipe, but if for those of you that are at your goal weight, and if avocado is not a trigger food or anything like that, then you can have it. But I did do that in the book. I put in parentheses certain dishes like my grandmother's haroset for Passover. That's made with like 4 different types of nuts in there. But we only make that once a year, literally once a year. But I've put on top, not favorable for weight loss. So we have done that in the book as well.
Right.
So everything's labeled.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are there any recipes you're still trying to convert?
Not right now. Not right now. I'm pretty satisfied with what we did for the book. We tackled some of the hardest ones. And there are a few that I have in mind that I'm going to ask for my aunt's help. And we're probably going to start tackling one thing we finally figured out, or I finally figured out, was baklava. Baklava is a really hard dish. And I remember being at the NHA conference last year with our dear good friend, Sia, who's from Greece. And it was me, Tammy, and her in the car. And all of a sudden I said, oh my God, Sia, we have to make baklava, because they're known for making some of the best baklava. And so I went home and I'm like, I have to recreate this. And then Tammy throws a twist in there. Okay, girls, you need to make it gluten-free. Okay, here's another twist. I searched high and low for oil-free phyllo dough. Cannot find it, nor was I going to make it. So finally figured out it is not your typical baklava with the phyllo, but I promise you the taste is exactly like the baklava that we used to buy in the Middle East. So the taste is definitely there. The crunch is there. but because the phyllo is in there, people are like, well, that doesn't, well, it tastes like baklava, but we kind of missed the phyllo. Well, I'm sorry, but I had to make it gluten-free, and there is no phyllo that has no oil, but this is salt, oil, and the sugar is coming from dates. So, but it is a high calorie dense food. This is not, baklava is not something that you can eat on a regular basis. Baklava is something for a special occasion. So stay tuned. That recipe at some point will come out, but we'll make an announcement for that.
Great. So where can people follow you?
And I just want to say the baklava was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And when you come in July, we're going to make it for my birthday.
Wait,
There
when
you
did you make
go.
it? I didn't taste any of this.
You didn't taste the baklava?
Where
Yeah,
was it?
We didn't have it this weekend.
No, this weekend we didn't make it.
Oh, that's why. Okay, thank
Yeah,
God.
no, this weekend. No, you guys can follow me on Healthy Cooking with Shayda on my YouTube channel. That's also the name of my website, Facebook, everything. But I really want to get this recipe. Are we running out of time?
Oh no, I thought you were done. Go ahead, keep going.
Oh no, we still have to we still have to make
I've never made it. I thought that actually, well, that was easy.
Oh, no. So in this, we're going to be adding pomegranate molasses. We are going to be adding dried mint. Now this mint, my aunt actually dried it herself and it smells phenomenal. So you want some dried mint in here. And we're also going to be adding the angelica powder that I was telling you about. That's also going in here. And when I made this, we kept, between me, Tammy, and Rebecca, we kept tasting this after 3 hours in the fridge, after overnight, because we want to make sure that the flavors were there. And then we're also adding garlic powder. Tammy June, can I get a spoon, please? Yeah. So we're going to mix all this together.
You want a little spoon or a big?
Just something so I can taste it. Yeah. To see if we need to add anything more. And bring one for yourself too, because now you know what it's supposed to taste like. Yeah. And see if we need to add anything. But I tell you what, guys. Oh my God, it smells so good.
It smells amazing.
It smells really good. But here's the thing. We're gonna taste it now, but I promise you, once it's been sitting in the refrigerator, you're going to take it out. You're going to say, maybe I add a little bit more pomegranate. Maybe I add a little bit more of this, because we did that.
Yep.
We did that. We did that several times. It tastes good right now.
It does. I don't think we need to add anything.
Well, we don't know. We may have
Not
to.
right now.
Right, not right now, but right now it tastes pretty good. So
delicious.
There's something about that pomegranate molasses,
There
right?
It is because it's hard.
Can I add a little bit more?
Yeah.
You're okay if I add?
Yeah.
A little bit.
This. This is really different. It doesn't taste like anything I've ever had before.
Taste a little bit. Oh, you did taste it. So
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
Just make sure when you make lentils and after you cook them, you're ready to sit down to eat it. Just take that and sprinkle it on top and then really mix it well. And remember your sister.
I will.
Anyway, so that's
Amazing.
it. That's the recipe. That's super, super easy. It's a low calorie dish and you can eat this on its own. You could put it on baked potato. You could have it on your salad. It's a dip. So however that you're going to use your dip, you could make corn chips and use corn chips. You could use endive and you could just put it on top of your endive, your romaine lettuce. The possibilities, bell peppers, you can cut your bell peppers in half and just scoop it up with the bell pepper. So the possibilities are endless for this. So it's a great dip. It's something quick, easy that you can take to a potluck, picnic, or anywhere.
All right. Well, thank you, Shayda. If you're just joining us, make sure you get this book. When you get it, save your receipt, send it to the email that's in the show notes below, and you'll get 10 bonus recipes, including the world famous oil-free tahdig.
Hey, she said it right.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
Tahdig is a lot easier to say than Rosh Kabesh or whatever that is. But I can say
But you said 5th of June really well.
yes in June. Well, because it was spelled out perfectly. I could understand it completely. All right. Well,
That's
thank you so
funny.
much for coming to Sacramento and doing all your activities here so people could get your book. That was
Well,
fantastic.
thank you for having me and making me feel so welcome to come here. I absolutely had a blast and I love coming here, and I can't wait to see you guys soon again.
Yep, and thank you to Meg Notebook for hosting you. That was wonderful. Every
Absolutely.
time I turned my phone on, you were doing something. So this was fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Shayda. Safe travels home to you and Rebecca.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys. Thank you for everything.
You know, we need Rebecca to do what you did because she's not only another weight loss success story over 200 pounds, but she needs to convert all her family's traditional Mexican
Absolutely.
recipes.
I'm trying. I'm nudging her, but little bit at a time, little bit at a time.
Now,
Rebecca will do it on her time.
you paved the way, so that we look forward to that new book.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 11 a.m. tomorrow when my guest is Dr. Catherine Reed. I heard about her from Dr. Peter Rogers, and her book, Fat, Stressed, and Sick, was probably the best book I've read this year. She healed her daughter's autism by giving her a whole food, unprocessed diet free of MSG, dairy, and what else was the other thing? Gluten. But the most interesting information she has is on glutamate, which is in a lot of vegan foods that a lot of us are eating, and it is not healthy. So you're going to learn all about that tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.